Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host, Preston, alongside my father, Mike. And Dad, are we ready to talk about sports?
I'm ready. I have one special thing. I have to give a shout out to your mom, my wife, Jen. This morning, she competed in a CrossFit challenge, and her team made it to the final, but they had to pull out because of injury. I just wanted to give a shout out to her at Nova Fitness in Victor, New York. What a great job. I'm really proud of her.
Oh, I am too. It takes a lot of skill to compete in those challenges and a lot of everything, a lot of heart, a lot of toughness, all of that stuff.
Absolutely. I watched this morning, and it's amazing what these people can do. Got to give them a lot of credit. I don't know if that's something I could do, and it's just an awesome job by everybody involved there.
Absolutely. And yeah, great shout out there, Dad. And let's get into some major sports. First off, MLB. The New York Yankees. What a pathetic job they have continued to do after the All-Star break.
Oh, I was really looking forward to after the break. Thought they were going to, just take off. You expect this team, with all the money they have in that payroll there. I know they're missing Aaron Judge, but they got a lot of guys there that have to step up, and you just thought they would, just turn it on the second half of the season. And yeah, what a disappointment, huh? They've won 2 games out of 6 or 7. Yeah, I think 6. I think they're 2-6 from the break. Very disappointing. They, and they're fallen. They're only 4 games over 500. I mean, they beat Kansas City last night, which is the worst team in baseball other than the Oakland A's, and they struggled to beat them. They're 3 or 4 games out of the last playoff spot. Usually at this time of the year, the Yankees are in first or second. They're in dead last in their division.
Yeah. They couldn't buy a game against the Rockies either, and they are not that good.
They had like the worst pitching staff in the league, and they couldn't score.
No. But one of the only bright sides right now going on for the Yankees, Gleyber Torres, the game's going on right now. He recently, just today, he extended his hit streak to 12 games. And that is pretty much one of the only guys who can hit right now for the Yankees.
And that says a lot, doesn't it? Gleyber Torres is your best player right now?
Yeah.
That sums up the season right there if he's your best player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty much been him and the offense and Garrett Cole pitching. Their bullpen's been good all year, but they've let them down, and that's a product of overuse, in my opinion, because Aaron Boone goes to that bullpen so much. And now they were so good at the beginning of the year. Now they're starting to go down. If you notice, this happened last year too, because what do? 6th inning. No matter what the starting pitcher's doing, they go to that bullpen. Mm-hmm. And they're going to wear them out, and it's starting to show. And I think there's going to be some major changes there, because I got to be honest, I don't see this team making the playoffs.
I don't either. They are dead last behind the Red Sox. The Red Sox, they aren't that good this year, and we can't beat them either.
No, we're horrible against them. I mean, you can say, oh, well, they're only 3 games out of the playoffs, and there's a lot of games, 60-some games to go. But you just don't see it. And there's so many other teams fighting for that last spot. This doesn't look good. I mean, Judge, if he comes back and he plays like he can play, then, they could sneak in. But yeah. That's a big if he comes back and plays like he can play. You don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. I mean, that's a big that injury is just going to nag all season long. So this is first for me, saying that at the All-Star break the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs, but it's starting to look that way.
It sure is. Mr. October himself, Giancarlo Stanton, has struggled, and he should be your best player offensive-wise behind Aaron Judge. Maybe you could make an argument for Anthony Rizzo. He hasn't done anything either. And it's just been horrible to watch. They're hard to watch. It's a perfect way to put it.
Oh, they're very frustrating to watch. I mean, they cannot hit.
No.
When's the last time you heard of a Yankee team that could not hit?
It's been a while.
It's just brutal.
It's been a long time.
Part of me wants to say that, are these guys just done? Stanton, Rizzo, LeMahieu, are they done as major league being the high productive players, or are they just having a bad year?
Yeah.
They're getting up there in age. Maybe this is the downturn for those guys. Maybe they reached their peak and they're on their way down. I don't know. I mean, Stanton was hurt, but he's always hurt. That's a horrible contract for the Yankees. I mean, they're going to be stuck with him.
Yeah.
Till he's, I don't know what they're going to do with him, but it's just brutal. And then there was talk that if the Angels were going to trade Ohtani, that the Yankees might be the team that would pick him up. But now the Angels have actually played pretty good, and they're right on the outside of the playoffs. So they're not going to trade him when they're close to making the playoffs or have a chance. So that's not going to happen. And I don't see any guys out there in the trade deadline's August 1st. I don't see any guys out there on these other teams that are going to make a big difference. I just don't. I haven't heard of any big name that's going to be on the trade block that can help the Yankees out. They're going to have to do it with what they've got, and I just don't think they have that top-notch roster that they usually have.
Yeah, there was talk that they should be trading for Juan Soto, but I don't agree with that either. The Padres have been absolutely horrible, and he hasn't been doing much for them either. So I don't think, with how bad this Yankees offense is, I don't think it make much of a difference. And I don't think outfield's the biggest need. I think we need somebody that can hit, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But we need defense too. I mean, third baseman, we have no one. Left fielder, that's what Soto plays. But like I said, he hasn't been doing that good productive wise hitting. He has been doing okay recently. But will that continue if we pick him up? I don't see it.
He's a lot like the players the Yankees have.
Exactly.
It's either home run or strikeout.
Yep.
We need some guys that can actually get on base and, that can hit around 300, that aren't 200 hitters. Like, if you look at that Yankee lineup, everybody in the lineup's hitting 200.
Yeah.
You just can't win that way.
Ridiculous.
If you don't hit home runs, they don't win.
Yeah.
And when they do hit home runs, there's nobody on base. So you got to have guys on base, and they just don't have that type of hitter. That's why I think they really need to revamp things. Even if they squeak into the playoffs, they really need to make some changes next year, because this Yankee team is going nowhere, and they just got to change things. The pitching staff's not bad.
No,
they don't need a lot of help there.
Yeah,
it's just they cannot hit, and it's a funny thing is the Mets and the Yankees, both New York teams, were picked to be near the top of their leagues, and it's looking like both teams are going to miss the playoffs. That's crazy.
Yeah, it sure is. If you can't hit, you're making it really hard for the pitchers, especially out of the bullpen, because they come in later in the game. And they can't keep doing all that. I mean, they get tired easily, because that's why they're in the bullpen.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
They know if they give up one run, they're going to lose. They don't have any wiggle room. So, and you got good starting pitching for Garrett Cole the other night, and then they take him out and they lose the game.
Yeah. There's been talk about Luis Severino struggling too. Do you think it might be time for the Yankees to consider moving him to the bullpen?
I was thinking that way, but his last start was actually really good.
Where was that against?
That was against the Angels. They lost, but he played good. They didn't lose because of him.
Yeah.
And so I think he's got a couple more starts to see if he can keep it going in the right direction. But if he does start to struggle again, then bullpen might be the answer for him, where he only has to pitch 1 or 2 innings and then, he's out.
Just to help him get on track, you know. Yeah, that's about what we need to talk about for the Yankees. I mean, I'm kind of getting a little frustrated talking about them.
I mean, it's only we're middle of July here, or almost the end of July, and I'm really looking forward to football. Usually the Yankees will carry me through till football starts, but I'm already looking forward to football, because I think the Yankee team is just not gonna do it for us this year.
Yeah. Update from the Yankees-Royals game. Gleyber Torres sac fly once again, Gleyber Torres, sac fly, brings in Anthony Volpe. So that's an RBI for him, and they currently have a lead over the
lowly
Kansas City Royals. There we go. No. And now it is time to move in to some football, as you just mentioned. What is going on with the running back market? You know, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, those guys are frustrated with their contracts. Dalvin Cook, frustrated with their contracts, and they just don't want to play unless they get a good deal.
Well, they're feeling really undervalued.
I would too if I was them. I mean, running back, I think, is one of the most important positions in football. And you can disagree with me if you want, but they provide the running game so the quarterbacks can take 1 or 2 plays off a drive there or like a set of downs, and then they pass when they need to.
Yeah.
They're the guys who need to do that. And running back market is very different from when it used to be.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit. They are important, but the problem is they're kind of interchangeable. And that's why these guys aren't getting the big contracts. The shelf life for an NFL running back is only 3 years on average. So when you get a guy like Saquon Barkley, who's this is his 5th year?
Something like that.
So, I mean, he's at the end of his rookie contract. So these NFL teams, they don't want to give a big contract to this guy because in all likelihood, he's going to be on the decline or he's going to get hurt, because that's what usually happens with these running backs. So that's why you're not going to see big contracts for these running backs unless they're just an outlier, like a Christian McCaffrey, that can do both things. He's great in the backfield. He's great as a receiver. Yeah. I mean, Barkley's kind of like that. He's not as good as McCaffrey.
Yeah, no.
He deserves to get paid. I mean, listen, the Giants offered him $10 million a year, and he didn't want that. He thought he deserved 15. So the running back, I think, is going to have to be they're just going to have to accept the fact that they're not going to get that great big contract like a receiver gets. Mm-hmm. They're still going to get a decent contract. I mean, $10 million a year is a good contract.
Yep.
But because too many things have happened. Ezekiel Elliott got the big contract. What happened? He faded.
Yeah.
He got replaced by Tony Pollard, who was just a low contract guy, a late round selection in the draft.
And he's playing so much better.
So that's the problem. When an NFL team sees that, they're like, why am I going to pay Ezekiel Elliott all this money when I can just pay this guy half the money?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. Tony Pollard is looking like their guy. Tony Pollard, though, one thing about him, he's not begging for a contract. He's playing on the franchise tag for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to take smaller contracts. I mean, listen, the Giants, they would be better off probably. They could probably pay Dalvin Cook, $8 million a year. He's not as good as Barkley, but he's not a whole lot. He's not a big step down.
Mm-hmm.
And go with the other backups they have, and they'd be just as good.
Well, they did just pick up James Robinson. When he's on, he can go. You saw him with the Jaguars.
Yeah, he was really good. That's a good pickup for them.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel they picked him up just in case, because Barkley said he might hold out. So, they've got a backup plan in case he does. So, I mean, the Giants, listen, Barkley makes them a better team, but they're not going to pay him that big contract. It's just not going to happen.
And this is kind of similar to back in 2018 when Le'Veon Bell held out, and he himself just apologized a couple of days ago, saying he shouldn't have never left the Steelers and he didn't know why he held out. I feel like this could be the same case scenario for Saquon Barkley if he holds out.
Yeah, because if you skip a season as a running back and then you come back, you're a year older. The contract you're going to get it's going to be basically the same. So what are you holding out for?
Yeah.
And you're going to be on a different team. Right now, he works for the Giants. He goes to another team, has to learns a different running style, a different style of offense or whatever. who knows if he's as effective. He's effective with the Giants, so this is his best place to be.
Yeah.
Just like the Steelers was the best place for Le'Veon Bell to be.
He took less money from the Jets and declined.
Yeah, and he declined because they didn't. Their style of offense didn't suit him.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, they ran the offense that suited Bell, so that was his best place to stay. And
yep.
I mean, he gambled on himself to make more money,
and that's what happens.
It didn't work, and it usually doesn't for the running back. Other receivers, yes, because they can stay in the league longer. They don't take the big hits like the running back gets hit every single down. And so I think that's where we're at with the NFL. And I still think you're going to see Barkley play this year because I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to hold out. He's going to threaten to hold out, but when push comes to shove, he'll be there starting week.
Yeah. And it was smart, like we said, smart by the Giants to sign James Robinson just in case he does indeed hold out.
Yeah.
But let's stay here at the NFL. Interesting news from owners. Dan Snyder has finally sold the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it finally went through. They finally got rid of him. What a disaster he's been. Horrible, toxic work culture there.
Yep.
And just horrible product on the field. If you're just sticking with sports, the product on the field was just, they've been one of the worst teams for last 10 years. I don't know how long he's owned them. It's got to be at least 10 years he's owned them.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had hardly any good seasons. So, yeah, it's glad that he's gone. And the new guy, Josh Harrison, who owns the 76ers, sounds like he's really upbeat. He wants a winning team there, wants a good workplace, and that sounds like a good thing for the Washington Commanders.
Definitely. I mean, I am a big fan of. I was a big fan when Sean Taylor was playing before he that whole passed away thing, robbery from his house.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely disgusted by what Snyder did for his statue. They made this big deal about his statue they were making for Sean Taylor. It looked like a Walmart mannequin with Washington Commanders uniform on. It's just embarrassing what he did there.
Yeah, he just has no feel for things. Yeah, he's just, from all reports, from what you hear, he's just not that good. He's just not a good guy.
He's not.
He's a billionaire, and that's what he is. He's not a great guy, and it's just a good thing that he's out of the NFL. Hopefully, this guy Harrison is a lot better, and he can't be any worse. I'm sure he's a lot better.
It's very hard to beat Dan Snyder for being the worst owner in the NFL.
Yeah, they've been trying to get him out of the league for years, and finally they were able to do it.
Say that again. Let's move gears here. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Let's go to college athletics. How about the USC Trojans? We haven't got into this at all, but LeBron James' son Bronny goes there to USC. Is gonna play basketball there, and they have the Heisman Caleb Williams. What is the floor and ceiling, the expectations for these USC Trojans this year for their athletics?
As far as football goes, it's high. Very high. But I believe they're going into the Big Ten this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be very interesting. They're going to be playing against Michigan State. Well, I'm not exactly sure what the schedule is. They won't be playing against all of those guys, but they could be playing against Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, a combination of those teams.
It's a lot more difficult than the Pac-12, I'll tell you that.
And they got to travel all that way.
Yeah.
And they'll be playing UCLA too, because they're going to. But,
yeah.
I think they have a non-conference game that's pretty big too this year. If there was still in the Pac-12, I would say they're pick them first and go with it. But I don't see them being first in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, no. Michigan and Ohio State are arguably better, have the better roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Ohio State is going to have a new quarterback this year, but they say that the rest of their roster is loaded.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
their running backs are pretty good.
I mean, and they're just their linemen and Their defensive players, from what I've heard, a lot of people are picking them over Michigan, even though Michigan has an experienced quarterback,
J.J. McCarthy,
and stuff. So college is a little bit different than the NFL. Sometimes you can win without the great quarterback, as long as the rest of your team is good.
Yeah.
So USC, I mean, that's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it, to see them play against those teams. I mean, Caleb Williams is still probably the Heisman favorite. I expect him to do good, but whether that defense, we saw that defense last year remember the championship game against Utah?
Yeah, that was awful.
They were just pathetic.
Pathetic.
And unless that got a lot better, he can score 40 points, but the opposing team is probably going to score 45. So, but it's going to be interesting. I can't wait. We're less than a month away from college football, which is exciting.
College football is exciting. And some people make cases for college football being more exciting than the NFL, like on the field wise.
Yeah, a lot of people do, especially in the South. It's big in the South. A lot of people, college football is king down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. If you look, I mean, I love watching college football on Saturdays. Those stadiums got over 100,000 people in them.
Yeah, it's so loud.
It's loud. It's crazy.
You can barely hear the announcers on your TV.
Yeah, it's totally different. I'd say the atmosphere is a lot better than the NFL.
Oh, for sure. You got those college kids. They're very passionate about their teams.
Yeah, it's just a great environment. You can tell it's a fun thing to do on a Saturday because they spend the whole day there.
Mm-hmm.
They start early in the morning and they're there all day long. Just great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. It should be awesome.
Upsets as well are, Texas, if Ewers there didn't get hurt, almost beat Alabama last year. You remember that game?
Yeah. It's a lot more unpredictable than the NFL. The NFL, you usually have a pretty good idea who the good teams are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in college football, because you're dealing with kids, you never know on a certain day, who's going to beat who. They're not professionals, so
yep.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Sure is. And finally, our last topic before we get into plays of the week here. Let's talk about what are our expectations moving back to the NFL for our quarterbacks for the NFL.
Great topic.
I'd say let's start here with some of the quarterbacks who struggled last year. What are our expectations for these three? Justin Fields, Jordan Love, and Russell Wilson.
Wow, that's an interesting threesome you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love. I have a funny feeling he's going to be pretty good.
I do too.
I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling I have. I mean, his last year, the couple games he played, he looked pretty good.
He played really good against the Super Bowl runner-ups, the Eagles.
Yeah, he did. And
Rodgers went out. He stepped up.
I just think sitting behind Rodgers and taking all that in the last few years, I mean, he's learned slowly. He hasn't been pushed into the game, rushed into the game.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he's going to be pretty good. Now, I don't know if the Packers are going to make the playoffs, but I just think I could see them winning 9 games, which would be 8-9 games, which with a brand new starter is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I've heard other people say, "Oh, they're going to win 3 games." I don't see that.
I don't either. Jordan Love, I think, could be a very talented young quarterback, and I do still have the Lions winning that division, actually. But I think Green Bay could be a good sneaky. Yeah, there you go, wild card team.
Yeah, they can sneak up on you because the expectations aren't there. Detroit, yeah. I want to go all in on them because I think they have the talent.
They're still Minnesota, though. That's what I'm struggling with.
I'm not even struggling with that. I'm just struggling with Detroit as being Detroit.
Yeah, their offense can score, that. But
I just don't think I'm a believer because I haven't seen it. You're just so used to Detroit, just not being that team.
They seemed so motivated last year after that win against Green Bay.
They did.
That was one of the greatest games I may have ever watched on Sunday Night Football because, the Lions, they got eliminated earlier, remember, because Seattle won, so they had no chance. But they still played their best football and eliminated their rival, the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, that's a very good sign that they went out there and knocked them out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I should be all in on them because they probably are the better team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess just because I've seen them over the years just be so bad, I guess I have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, understandable.
I mean, I don't think they'll be bad this year, but I need to see I need to see them take that step from 8 wins to 11 or 12 before I'm a believer, I guess.
Yeah, they did take some questionable picks in the draft, but if that's what they need to take it to the next step, because Jahmyr Gibbs was the worst pick in the world. So now you got, I think, David Montgomery there, Jahmyr Gibbs, because both Jamal Williams left, and you traded DeAndre Swift to the Eagles. So now you got your 2 new running backs. So I don't see a problem with that pick, Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe a little early, but
Yeah, a little early, but
it's what they needed.
I mean,
and then you took
he's got speed. He's
talented linebacker out of Iowa, Jack Campbell, who Iowa was known in their defense because their offense. So me and you watched it; they could not score.
Yeah, their defense is always good in Iowa, and he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Detroit needs is defense. So, yeah, that was a real good pick. So, yeah, they should be good. I still have to see it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But let's move into our next quarterback here, Justin Fields. I'm gonna say he steps it up a little bit next year. He's got a little bit more help, so this is kind of his make or break year. DJ Moore is there now. He's got a receiver. He's got DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, those guys. He's got a nice young tight end, Cole Kmet. And his defense was stepped up, too, with the signing of Tremaine Edmonds and all of them.
Yeah, the ex-Steeler. Or that's
the
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, I get the 2 brothers mixed up. Yeah.
Twins, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Justin Fields, this is his season that he needs to take it to the next level, and I think he has it. I think he has it in him.
I'm going to go the other way with you. He's another player that he's very talented, but I just don't know if he's ever going to be a great passer.
Yeah.
He's got the arm strength, but the accuracy, I just don't know if it's ever going to be there. He relies on his legs way too much, and we both know that's only going to take you so far.
Lamar Jackson,
Michael Vick, all those guys.
Cam Newton, too.
Yeah. So much relies on their legs. He's got to be a passer this year. If he's going to make it, he's got to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah.
If he has another year like last year where he's just running all over the place and they're relying on his legs more than his passing, they might have some good results this year, but eventually that's going to get him hurt, and it's just not long term.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see him pass. If he comes out and his passing is improved a lot, then they could be pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's the key right there with him.
And our final quarterback here, let's take a look at Denver Broncos trade from the Seattle. Let's take a look at Russell Wilson. I mean, struggled this year, but do you think with the coaching change and the changes this offseason around that, do you think he has what it takes to turn it around?
I think he does. He did play a little bit better towards the end of the season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton, as we know, is an offensive guy. The coach they had last year was just brutal.
Oh, yeah.
He just was not a head coach.
First year head coach.
He did not know what he was doing. Did not belong as a head coach. We could see that quite obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He's back to being an offensive coordinator, which I think is what his strength is.
Yeah.
He's with the Jets now.
So we'll see if he can do it with Rodgers.
Yeah. I have a feeling Russell Wilson's going to be pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be great like he was in Seattle.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be decent. Far as that transitioning to team success there's a lot of good teams in that division.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how many wins that's going to evolve in. I mean, obviously, I think they'll be better than they were last year. So I expect him to be better, but whether it's enough for that team to make the playoffs, I'm not sure.
I am with you there. I think Russell Wilson can do good. I think he can turn it around a little bit. But, Chiefs are in there. They are given first every year. I mean, with Mahomes, it's kind of hard not to get number one. You got Justin Herbert, Chargers. They are my number 2 team in that division.
Absolutely.
You got Raiders with
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
If he stays healthy, they could be decent.
They could be. They could turn it around. And then you got the Denver Broncos. So you got a lot of work to do if you're Russell Wilson and the Broncos, and to do good with the team and win some enough games to get you a good place in that division and make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. He's going to have to, like, totally turn it around, which he probably is capable of. But, you know, he's getting up there in age too. And a lot of his game in Seattle was predicated on his moving around too. And escaping the pocket, getting out of the pocket and throwing. So, as he's getting older, he's got to rely more on his arm too. So, we're going to see this year if he's still got that, or if the age factor is starting to creep in.
Yep, it's kind of Russell Wilson's make or break year. If he has 2 bad years, he could be done, as you just mentioned.
It could be a backup. Or, I mean, he might not want to be a backup.
Could be done.
Could be done. Yeah, if he has another bad year, he could be done.
Yeah. So there are the 3 quarterbacks for expectations. We are gonna continue that topic. Let's move that to next week, and we'll say 3 new quarterbacks next week.
Absolutely. I think in the next few weeks we're gonna get into talking more about the teams and where we think they're gonna fall this year through some maybe division by division, and we're gonna let you guys know where we think the teams are gonna fall this year in the NFL.
Absolutely. Slowly and slowly, this NFL season is coming, but
it's less than 50 days for the first game.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
So, well, Dad, it's time to transition to plays of the week, and I will start off here with the Phillies and Guardians here. Ahmed Rosario pops it up, foul territory. Bryce Harper takes a leap into foul territory.
What an amazing play that was.
And makes the amazing catch. I mean, that was very dangerous, but still made the catch. I mean, anything.
He just came back. He just got off the DL, or whatever they call it now, the IL, a few days ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He takes a big tumble like that. Oh, it's great. I bet you they're holding their breath in the dugout. Awesome play. All right, I got one for you. It's our Yankees up 3-1 against the LA Angels. And guess who's coming to bat? Yes, you know it. Shohei Ohtani. The pitch from Michael King. And there it goes. Home run, 2-run shot, ties the game up. They go on to win it. And our Yankees lose again. But
put that bat flip in the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, Shohei Ohtani is there when you need him to be, and right there is an example of that.
Oh, what a play. He's such a great player. Amazing. Too bad it had to happen against our team.
Well, Dad, unfortunately, that is our time. Any predictions for the week before we sign off here?
Yeah, I got one for you. We haven't talked about it yet, but for you golf fans out there, the British Open's going on right now. And I've got John Rahm. He made a big comeback. He's all the way up to second now, I believe. I got him winning it tomorrow, the British Open champ.
Was he the Masters champion of that?
Yes. Was he the winner this year?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think so, yes. He's really good, but he's been kind of slumping the last few months. And he came all the way from, I believe he was like 72nd place or something after one round. And he's made it all the way up to second. So
how does that even happen?
That's just crazy how golf can happen like that, especially over there in Britain. The style of play, the courses are so you can have guys really make up shots and you have guys really lose shots quick there.
Interesting prediction there. I like John Rahm there. He has really made a name for himself this year. But my prediction for this week is going to be from the Yankees Royals. I don't think we're going to sweep them. I think the Royals will get 1 game on us.
That's
maybe 2.
That's pretty sad. I see why you would say that.
If we sweep them, then I'll be happy, but I just don't see it.
I'm gonna be hopeful and go they're gonna sweep them, but I see why you would say that.
Well, I just want to say thank everyone for listening to this podcast this week, and Big news. Our YouTube channel is up. This will be our second video of this. Our second video is going to be from this podcast on there. We already have our first one from last week. So if you guys wouldn't mind, go checking that out. Producer Chad has put some really great graphics on there, so you kind of get to see us and the stats that's going on. And yeah, so that is going to be PM Sport Talk, just like this Spotify podcast. And thank you guys for listening, and have a good weekend. Hey, if you like what you see, you can subscribe down below, and you can listen to our podcast at any time. And also, if you want to reach out to us, you can reach us at pmsporttalk@gmail.com. Also coming soon is a website. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one.